Hello everyone, welcome to the introduction for this week's module in the GIS and mathematics. And what I want to talk about in this week's module are two things. I want to talk about matrix inverses, or the inverse matrix. Right, inversing a matrix, and then transposing a matrix. And these two ideas, the idea of matrix inverses and matrix transposing, play critical roles in so many aspects of the computer science that goes behind the scenes of things like, honestly, things like map projections, which we already kind of talked about, things like GPS, and just general computation for a lot of, especially the geostatistics, and just the way we store data. So understanding these concepts of what it means to invert a matrix and what it means to transpose a matrix are going to be very important as you move forward in having a really deep understanding of how the math behind a lot of the GIS applications actually works. And so what we're going to learn about in this module is we're really going to talk about four things. The first thing we're going to talk about is this idea of what's called the identity matrix. Which we're going to go in a lot more detail about what this is, but this is basically just a matrix that if you multiply it by another matrix, you get that matrix back. This identity matrix is the matrix equivalent of the number 1. All right, this is the matrix equivalent of the number 1. The second thing we're going to talk about is something called reduced row echelon form. Reduced row EC. Let's clear that up just a little bit. That's a little sloppy. Sloppier than normal. All right, we're going to talk about reduced row echelon form, which is basically a way of rewriting a matrix so that we can do things like inverse. So this is basically a critical step in matrix algebra. And we're going to go through the steps and processes involved in converting a matrix to this reduced row echelon form. Then 3, we're going to combine the identity matrix with this idea of reduced row echelon form to actually talk about matrix inverses. And then finally 4, we're going to talk about this idea of the matrix transpose. Now, I left this inverse matrices blank because this is going to get its own sort of introductory video, so I don't want to spend too much time right now talking about it. Matrix transpose, again, same thing. We're going to be spending a lot of time talking about these two steps, so hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to talk about. Again, the identity matrix, reduced row echelon form, inverse, how we actually go about inverting a matrix, and then how we actually go about transposing a matrix. 3 and 4, I'm going to star these. These are the key concepts of this module. The identity matrix and reduced row echelon form are just sort of key concepts to be able to approach these topics. So hopefully that makes sense. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.